today we'll start about we'll talk about section 8 of Indian Evidence Act. Section 8 of Indian Evidence Act 1872. In our earlier lectures we covered section 6, means the doctrine of res gestae, and the subsequent section of section 6 was section number 7. There we have already completed it. Today we will focus our attention in section 8 of Indian Evidence Act. So what it talks about, what is there under section 8 of Indian Evidence Act? Now see, under section 8 it is said that motive of a crime plus preparation of the crime and also the conduct of the person, these three things are important. The fact of motive, the fact of preparation, the fact of conduct, these three things are very much relevant. Relevant to what? Relevant to fact in issue. So what is a fact in issue? Fact in issue means, fact in issue, if I discuss, before every lecture of Indian Evidence Act I do mention about the fact in issue. What is fact in issue? Because fact in issue means the thing that is matter in dispute. The thing that is matter in dispute, that we call fact in issue. Now see here, if the motive of the crime, what was the motive of the crime, and what is the stage of preparation, and how was the conduct, means before, means the previous conduct, and also the subsequent conduct of the person, means before committing the crime or offense or after committing the crime of offense or crime or offense, what was the conduct of that person who committed that offense. That is very important here, conduct. Now see, I will start my discussion with motive. What is motive? Under Indian Penal Code, that is the substantive law or the real law of criminal law, real criminal law. Real criminal law means under criminal law branch, the substantive law or the substantive rules regarding the crime has been discussed under Indian Penal Code. So that's why it is called real law or substantive law. Now here motive. So motive under Indian Penal Code, and what is the motive under Indian Evidence Act? See, the motive under Indian Evidence Act, what is it is saying, the concept. We today learn the concept of motive. Here it is said that motive has the secondary role. Motive of crime has its secondary role or plays a secondary role if there is direct evidence is present. So for a crime, if a crime has happened somewhere, a crime has happened, so for that crime, in that case, the direct evidences were present. Direct evidence, direct evidence what? The witnesses, those who saw the crime with his own eye, means the eyewitnesses. So their oral statement is called the direct evidence. There, the whatever statement would be made by that eyewitness, that would be counted under direct evidence. So if in a crime, if for a case direct evidence is available, then motive plays the secondary role. In that case, for that very case where the direct evidence is available, for that particular case, it has the motive, the evidence of motive. The evidence of motive has secondary role. It doesn't play the primary role, because for that particular case direct evidence is already present. But if direct evidence is not present, no one has seen the crime, no one has, so no one is eyewitness for that crime. So for that case, what would happen? So for that case we will say only circumstantial evidence are present. So circumstantial evidences are present only circumstantial, as the direct of it, as that case lacks the direct evidence, that means for that case circumstantial evidences are only available. Because of unavailability of direct evidence, yeah, for that case evidence of motive plays the primary role there. For that case where there is only availability of circumstantial evidence, not the direct evidence, for that case evidence of motive plays the primary role, not the secondary role. Yeah, fine, that's why it is important. Now in which case there is only circumstantial evidence is available, only circumstantial, then what happens, then you can use under section 8 of Indian Evidence Act, you can use the evidence of motive. How you would make it? Now you have to establish the link between evidence of motive and circumstantial evidence. You have to establish the link between these two things. At the time where in the case only circumstantial evidence is available, for that case you can use or you have to use the evidence of motive. So under section 8 you can use the section 8 of Indian Evidence Act, motive, the evidence of motive, and you have to establish a link between motive and circumstantial evidence, because that case lacks the direct evidence. There is no white witnesses present, no other witnesses are present, so that case lacks direct evidence. Only circumstantial is available. To support the thing you need the help of evidence of motive. Now see, with an example we will learn it now. What is the motive? With an example we will learn this thing, motive. Now a case I am giving means in this case whether motive, the evidence of motive plays the primary role or the secondary role, we will get to know about it. Means I will give an illustration, with it we will learn it. For this particular case, whether evidence of motive plays the primary role or the secondary role. Fine. So A has seen, so A is a person, A has seen with his own eye, the person A has saw or has seen with his own eye that B has killed or murdered C. A with his own eye have seen that B has committed murder of C. In this case you don't need to have the motive, you don't need to take the help of evidence of motive. Why? Because for this particular case there is a direct evidence is present, direct witness, direct eyewitness. A in this particular case, A is the eyewitness. So as the direct evidence is available for this case, so the evidence of motive doesn't play the primary role here. Fine. So with this case we have explained what, though here the your evidence of motive doesn't play primary role, but it plays secondary role. It has its own importance. Every concept has its own importance. Every doctrine has its own significance. Now see, I am not saying that whether there is a direct evidence is available, for that case you don't need the help of evidence of motive. I am not saying it. I am saying that if there is direct evidence is available, first use those things. If there is a need, then you can use as a secondary tool. Now whether it is a direct evidence is available or not, or only the case is based upon or dependent upon solely on the circumstantial evidence, so it is not important. Means you can try it, you can try it at every level of case. Means whatever the case, you can use this concept, that is the evidence of motive you can use. Means here you have to know whether there was a motive behind committing this crime or not, This is important here, the concept. now we will go to some more illustrations, more examples, more illustrations, and here we'll see whether the motive in these cases, what I am going to present before you, that is really that crime had the motive or not. Behind committing those crimes, there had any motive or not. Now, first case. In this case, what happened? See, A is the person who killed B. A is the person who killed B, and B, before death, B knew that A murdered C. Before the death of B, because A, in this case what happened? A killed B, but before the death of this person B knew that A earlier murdered C. Fine. So what he did, B, before the death happened of B, before that, as the B knew about this thing means A murdered C. So B said to A that I will not reveal this matter, I will keep it secret. The thing that you have done, the murder of C, that I will keep it secret. If you give me money, substantial amount of money, if you pay me, then I will keep my mouth shut. I will remain this thing, this fact secret. So what? A started paying B. So the demand, it is a kind of, B was involving in what type of crime here? B is now involved in the crime of extortion. It is called extortion. Means in the first month the B asked 1 lakh rupees. Next month he asked more, 2 lakhs. And one day B asked 10 lakhs. Now the A got frustrated. You know, day by day the amount of extortion is getting increased. So A thought that it would be better to murder B also. Then all the secrets will remain secrets forever. So what he did? He killed B. So here what is the motive? Motive here, see, motive, I am writing motive. Motive is the extortion. Extortion is the motive of killing B. For killing B, the motive was extortion. Fine. Next illustration is what he did. A murdered R. Why A murdered R? When the evidence produced before the court, so the evidence pointed out that the evidences, whatever evidences, direct evidences, circumstantial evidences that produced before the court, that indicated that previously, many years ago, R did what? R killed A's brother. So many years before, A murdered A's brother. R murdered A's brother. So to take revenge, A killed R. So here the motive is what? Revenge is the motive. Why A killed R? To take revenge. Because in the past, R did what? R murdered A's brother. That's why. To take revenge, A killed R. So it was the motive. For this case, it is the motive. For the previous case that I mentioned a little time ago, that was the extortion was the motive for that. Next illustration for motive is what? Next illustration is, A is a person, A is the person. A murdered his own wife. Suppose R is the wife. So A murdered his own wife. Why he murdered? When the evidences produced before the court, that thing points out, that evidences points out that A had illicit relation with another woman. So A had illicit relation with another woman, love affair with another woman. When the wife of A learned about this fact, that his husband has an illicit relation or a love affair with another woman, that time the wife of A threatened his husband that I will report this matter to the police. I will report this matter to the police. Fine. So it was a threat. It was a threat from the wife's side. So A did what? A murdered his wife. So here the motive was what? Motive was the love affair or the illicit relation with another woman or the love affair with another woman. So here motive is different. So for every case now you see the motive is different. So you can, for every case, during argument, when argument happens or when evidences are produced, that time you can raise the point of evidence of motive. You can go with motive because evidence of motive has its own importance. Now we will discuss about some case laws, real case laws. The real case laws. Real case law. First case law we will discuss R versus Richardson. R versus Richardson. It is very important case. Yesterday we discussed section 7 of Indian Evidence Act. There also I did mention about this because that thing was a occasion, the effect, occasion and the cause. So during discussing that section 7 of Indian Evidence Act, I did mention about this same case, R versus Richardson. What happened? The fact was, you are aware about this fact. Now today we are using the same case. There yesterday I didn't mention about the motive. What was the motive behind this crime? Yesterday I didn't mention about this thing. What was the motive behind this crime? Today I am going to mention the motive behind the crime. See, Richardson here is the offender or the criminal man. So here he did what? So yesterday when we did discuss, the fact was what? There was a young girl and she was alone in her cottage. Fine. So this accused person named Richardson entered, took the advantage of that situation. What? As the young girl was alone, that's why he entered through the window and murdered that young girl. Fine. So yesterday we discussed about occasion, a set of circumstances, the cause. What was the cause behind this thing, behind this crime? Today we are going to discuss the motive. What was the motive? Why Richardson killed that young girl? Why? Without a motive, how anybody doesn't commit a crime without motive? So in every crime, for every criminal action, there is and there must be a motive, and you have to prove it in court. Now see the evidences that the police collected. You know what evidences they collected? Yesterday I also talked about it. And when finally the police succeeded catching this person Richardson, and produced him before the court, the Richardson, then the motive came into light. Motive. What was the crime? What was the motive behind causing this or happening of this crime, for committing this offense? The real motive was, this Richardson was the father of that young girl. This person Richardson was actually the real father, the father of that young girl. Fine. So why he killed his child or his daughter? Why? What was the motive? Motive was that the father had a relation, developed a relation with that girl, with his own girl, with his own daughter. The Richardson person developed a illegal affair or love affair or the illegal affair with this with his own daughter. And you know, because of this relation, with the father and daughter relation, because of this relation, illicit relation, what happened? The daughter or the young girl got pregnant. So here, you know, pregnancy was the motive. Why? To save the honor and prestige. To save the honor and prestige, Richardson did commit this heinous crime, means murdered his own daughter. Because in the society, if this information get leaked, then what would happen? Then there would be social boycotting, or there would be huge disgrace will happen to the Richardson. To save his honor, his prestige, his dignity in the society, he did what? He did murder. He did murder his own daughter. So it was the motive. So motive was established under Section 8 of Indian Evidence Act 1872. Yeah, not 1872. It was an English case. Yeah, later we adopted it, means adopted it, but it was an English act. So according to English common law, this case R versus Richardson is an English case. That's why using the English common law that time, they just punished this person. Now it was the motive. Next case is the Gosu Ramchandran Reddy versus State of Andhra Pradesh. So Gosu Ramchandran Reddy versus State of Andhra Pradesh. This is also important, because in this case there was an eyewitness, and the eyewitness statement, when the eyewitness gave his testimony before the court, when the eyewitness deposes his statement, that time whatever he was saying, the eyewitness was saying, that was exact truth. So it was that because with his own eye he has seen it. So it was for this case, for this particular case, Gosu Ramchandran Reddy versus State of Andhra Pradesh, there was availability of direct evidence. So here evidence of motive plays the secondary role. Here there was no need to establish this fact, because whatever statement or what testimony the eyewitness gave, that is sufficient to prove the crime. For placing the conviction upon the accused person, it is enough. So here we say there is no need to explain the motive, because as the eyewitness there was a direct evidence is available for this case, so there is no need. Next case was Bhagwan Das versus State. Now see this case. What was this case? Bhagwan Das. This Bhagwan Das case was about the honor killing. You know about the honor killing. So what happened, you know? The accused person was Bhagwan Das. Bhagwan Das was the accused person. What he did? He killed his own daughter, because his daughter committed the runaway marriage. Yeah, he eloped from the from her house, and just he married with another person. Yeah, a low caste person. So that's why Bhagwan Das did what? Means that girl's own father did what? Committed, means he killed his own daughter. So the motive behind this murder was honor killing. It is the honor killing to protect the dignity of the family, because they belong to the high caste, and the girl did what? She eloped from her house and committed the runaway marriage with a low caste boy. So for this reason, to protect the honor of the family, here the Bhagwan Das did what? He murdered his own daughter. So the motive here is the honor killing. Next, our next case related to the motive is what? Awadhes versus state of UP, state of Uttar Pradesh. Very important case. What happened? So a certain amount of land was inherited by the deceased person along with his own brother. So I am just discussing this fact. So there was a certain amount of land, means property or land, immovable land. So there was a certain amount of land, and that was inherited by the deceased person, means who has got killed. The deceased person, suppose A is that deceased person, and his brother B. Fine. So what their father did, means A and B's father, what he did before the death, the father did what? The father made the whole property on the name of his younger son. A younger son in this case is A. So father before his death did what? He made he just given the whole property, named the whole property in his younger son's name. But the younger son, means A, is unaware of this fact that his father has given whole property or made whole property in his name. The younger son, means A here, is unaware of about this fact. You find? So when B learned about this thing, that the father has did, so the father passed away. After the death of the father, when the B got learned about this fact that the all property now belongs to A, then by hook or by crook, so B transferred all the property in his name, because A doesn't know about it. A is still unaware about this fact. Fine. Now what happened later on, when A got learned about this thing, then A filed a civil suit in the court against B. So the A filed a civil suit here, because it is a matter with property. So matter with property means civil suit. There would be civil suit. You have to initiate a civil suit. So A filed a civil suit against B. So the proceeding was going on in the civil court. The proceeding was going on. During that time, B murdered A. So B murdered A. So here the motive is what? Motive is property is the motive. Property here is the motive. So why B committed this offense upon his own brother? Because property, to get the property. Fine, it is the motive. So through these cases we learned so much about the motive. We saw the many illustrations also related with this concept of motive, and also we discussed few case laws, real case laws. Now next is the preparation. Preparation. So what is the preparation? Preparation for a crime. See, before committing any crime, first thing is that intention is important. Intention regarding the crime, developing intention is very important. I am thinking that next month on this particular date, I along with some friends, we will commit bank robbery. will commit bank robbery. This is called the intention, the thinking about this thing, the planning, the thinking, the mind. It is a psychological thing. We are thinking, that is the matter related with intention. Now then after the intention comes what? After intention, the next stage subsequent to the intention is the preparation. So for committing this crime, bank robbery, we need pistol, we need certain things. Without the help of those weapons, how could you do the bank robbery? It is nearly impossible. So arranging those things, it is called the preparation phase. It is called the stage of preparation. Right after this stage comes attempt to commit the crime. Attempt. If you fail to do it, that is another, because the earlier the police got the information. So you made the attempt, but you didn't succeed. So attempt now. So here intention first, then preparation and the attempt. So next is preparation. So police can't arrest me. Why? Because in this case, until and unless I have not committed crime, the police cannot arrest me. Only making preparation for committing the offense is not enough. I will not be held guilty for doing merely the preparation. At preparation stage, police can't arrest me. But if there is some exceptions also, and in today's lecture I will not do mention about those exceptions, because exceptions you will get under Indian Penal Code. You will get the exceptions. So it is not today's subject. I am not going to that. At preparation level, at what for committing what type of crime, at preparation stage the persons can get arrested. There are some exceptions is there, but for most of the crime at the preparation level, the arrest doesn't happen. Fine. So you have to commit something. Actus reus must be there. Actus reus means action. It is a Latin word, actus reus. Mens rea is the mental thing. It is the intention. Intention is the mens rea. It is the mental thing that you have planned. You had the intention, then the preparation, then you attempted. Fine. Now see, preparation. So I will give an example. With an example we will get to know about this thing. This is the preparation. What is the preparation actually is? Suppose A is the person who has murdered B. A is the person, he murdered B with a pistol. A is the person who murdered B. Fine, with a pistol. Now, before committing this crime, this murder, before murdering B, A did purchase the pistol from the market. From the market he purchased pistol and also the cartridge. So the A purchased from the shop, from a shop in the market. He purchased pistol and along with the cartridges. Fine. Now when the proceeding will go on in court, means during trial, will have to, the court will send summon letter to the shopkeeper from where A purchased the pistol and the cartridges, and the shopkeeper will tell that on which date, at what time this person has actually came or not, and in his register that shopkeeper, because all the shopkeeper now they maintain the register, who comes, who just purchase the pistol and cartridge, they did keep the record, and the shopkeeper will have to, for establishing this thing, fact of preparation, the shopkeeper will have to show his record. So on this date, at this time, this person came to my shop and purchase this type of pistol along with the cartridges. So see, that is the thing. Then the another thing with it, we will complete our lecture. Today only we covered the first is the motive, next is the preparation. One thing still left, that is the conduct, and is the important. Tomorrow's lecture will cover it. Now see preparation. For preparation, the second example, second illustration is that a person named A. A person named A. He was sharpening his knife. What A was doing? A was sharpening. Before an affray, he committed A. The person A committed was doing what? Was sharpening his knife. Affray is, you know, affray. What is affray? Affray is a crime under Indian Penal Code. Affray. There is two words are there, affray and riot. Riot, you know, what is the riot? Hindu-Muslim communal riot. So affray is similar kind of thing, but there is a difference. There is a difference. So we are not going into that difference. So I am saying what? Before committing the affray, that person was sharpening his knife. Someone has noticed it. Thus the A was sharpening. Shortly before the committing affray, that person was sharpening his knife. Fine. So it is the preparation round. So preparation is, as he was sharpening his knife, so that knife he used during affray. Fine. So it is the preparation. So today we are finishing this lecture. Next day we will cover the rest of its part, means conduct.